Is your Sleepless God back with a new video? Recap. Uh, what happened last time? Asta did some training with the sword guy that he trained with in the manga and in the anime. He went on to the adventure with Yuno, got into the testing, tested, passed ish. Went into the Black Bulls with the captain. Went with Captain Yami and the Black Bulls. And that's where we kind of left off. It's kind of a short one, in a sense. Also, yeah. Also, let's start it out. So we go into where Yami's basically walking Asta, where the Black Bulls basically live, in the giant house. As we see, basically what we see in the anime and the manga, the giant door blow off again. But instead of Asta, getting hit and flying in the air, Asta dodges it, not even using any of his abilities, just dodging it with his just incredible speed and accuracy. Accuracy in the way that he can dodge things and see things a lot faster, and just moving into the corner before the door or anything else can fly after him. As we walk into the Black Boar's lair, as we see... Sorry if I use your paper, I'm literally writing all these names down. We have Luck, we have Magna, we have Gray, we have all like the Black Bulls characters in the house. We have Magma and Gray, as we see freaking Magma shooting giant, like doing what he did in the anime, fucking firing fireballs at Luck as he just runs around. Now, Nami, yes, gets mad at the people, and she says we have a new recruit here. His name is Austin. He is from he just got here, as Magma does the same thing as the anime, as he does the manly test room. As that's where I'm gonna start doing my storytelling instead of doing backward story. As we see Asta and Magma basically stand off at each other, as Magma says, "Get ready, kid. I'm not gonna hold back," as we see one giant fireball. Almost bigger than the anime or the manga, because he's not holding back anymore. He shoots at him as fast as possible, as is about to hit his face, as Magma actually starts getting worried because he actually doesn't think he's gonna dodge it or even move. As Asta stops time right when it's 2 inches from his face, teleports right next to Magma, grabs his giant sword, the regular giant sword, cracks it down onto his fucking shoulder, putting it back in. As we see Magma, as the fireball hits the tree and blows up, as we see a massive flames of fire just burn, as we see Magma crumble down, as we see him we hear a crack, as we just hear Magma crumble, as we see Asta just right behind Magma, just looking at him, and says, if you fired 7 of those at rapid speed, you might have killed me. As Magma looks at him and smiles and says, "Can you impress me?" and showed me that you can do it, as he grabbed a Black Bull uniform out of one of his pouches and gave it to him, and says, "Wear this with pride, kid, because I grant you the honor." As Asta puts on his Blackborn uniform, as you know, everything else happens as Asta gets his room. Asta gets his room and instantly wants to change it, but has no reality bending powers yet. So he doesn't know what to do with it because it's small, but it's nicer than the room that he had in the church where they all bundled up. As Asta fell asleep by himself, ready for tomorrow to write a letter and do what he needs to do. As Asta gets up, as he knows the house has shifted in the night. He can almost feel it under his feet as the room is different. The settings are different. As he wakes up and he opens the door and he sees, a giant pillar in front of it, basically in front of his door. As he shuts the door and says, that's kind of what I expected. As we see Magma start running course to Asta, as Asta looks at Magma, as we see Asta hasn't changed the uniform yet. He still has these like long bellowing cloaks and like a cloak over his head as like almost like goggles. Not goggles, sorry. And other anime character as like the eye patch is still there covering like one of his eyes, as no one asked him what is the eye patch. Everyone has a story here, and some people just like to keep it secret. As we basically Magna runs up to him, and we see Magnum's shoulder like bandaged because the blow that he actually took was a lot stronger than like Asta thought he was holding back a lot. He was, but comparison, he was still almost giving enough strength to break his shoulder. So it's injured in a sense. So they basically wrapped it up and just kept it safe. As Magma looks at Asta and says, "It's time to give you the tour." As we go across the castle, as we normal places, when Asta sees the giant monsters, like the giant things that Yami basically, I think it's Yami basically captured, he never feared them. Fear never came into his voice. Everyone else feared him instantaneously when they saw them. Asta never did. He looked them down even. As the beast looks into Asta's eyes, as he sees like one of his eyes, they can smell the godlike aura coming from this kid. As they kind of back up a little bit and almost sit calmly. As Asta looks at him and smiles. As he looks over, as he sees I just said his name like 38 times, didn't I? Fucking memory. As we start going around, as we see sorry, I just freaking read all the names, just figure them out. As we see a young princess girl walking up to her, as we see him look at Asta and say, "Hello, my name is fuck. Should have wrote this goddamn. Oh shit. This happens when you're not fully compared yet." My name is. What's her name? Esria. This is what happens when you're fucked, bro. As she says her name, because I gotta write it down, put it somewhere special, circle it even. As he says, "My name is Asta." He doesn't give a last Austin's like, oh, I've never heard your name in the royal standpoint. He says, I'm not a royal. As she raises her eyebrows and says, I was speaking to a commoner, and he says, no, you were speaking to a lot worse. You're speaking to me. As Asta smiles, says, compared to a commoner, I'm nothing but a worthless junk. As she basically walks off, as she like tried to fucking splash him like in the anime, but it does the same thing, but instead of splashing him, it basically, even like splashing any of them, he basically put his hand out to like block it. As she does the same thing as in the anime and the manga. Basically, Asta tries to find her, to talk to her, to try to help her, as she sees her basically try to cast the spell as she's missing it. As Asta can instantly see with her god eye why she's missing. She's putting way too much power into it, and she's not not showing her true being into it. She doesn't want to attack it. She's not used to attack. She's used to defense, and it shows in how she attacks. It's not normal. She's putting way too much magic into it. One, and number two, she's not putting her entire being into it. She's not trying to. As Asa stands up, as she freaks out and does the same thing, makes the child thing, but instead of lasting for so long, Asta basically deletes it with just reality, matter bending, matter destroying. He just destroys it, grabs her, falls from the sky, as drops her down on the floor nicely, as he gets on his knees and he says, okay, I know we got off to a rough start, but god damn, was that necessary? As she starts freaking out, and he looks at her in her eyes and just says, you do not have to feel bad. I think I can help you. And she looks at him and says, how can you help me? As he stands up and he looks almost down on her a little bit, and she can almost feel it. As he says, you're not used to attacking, are you? You probably lived in a royal family, but you were bullied, disrespected, the runt of the family. She looks up at him, and one tear drops from her face, as another tear was going, until Asta wipes the tear away, and he says, you need to put all that anger that you felt, all that sadness that you had, put them away. Put it into anger, rage, into attack. As Asta grabs her arm and starts pulling up, look at that target and see it as one of your enemies. As she makes the water, and she says, make it that you want to attack it. Make it in that sense that is the only thing you can attack and only will attack. As the ball smashes the tree in half with the target with it. As she looks up to Asta, as Asta looks at her and says, that's what you can do if you believe the enemy is there and you can really attack. As all the other Black Bulls came out and said blah blah blah, we saw a commotion happen to the giant water. Asta looks at him and just smiles. It's like, it was just an accident of mine. I started her. It was nothing at all. As every one of the Black Bulls smile and laugh, as she feels accepted now, like she's part of a family, and not just by herself. As Asta looks at her and says, that's not the only thing you probably need help with. Magic control, absolutely. Magic out of the worldly too strong for you, and you need to control it. But if you need any help, as he smiles, and his eyes, one of his eyes, just look at her, and you just see a blush come on her face as she turns like bright red and like runs off. As he's like closes that eye and just like in his head he's just like, God, she's way too fucking hot. As he just like walks away. And that's the ending of the video. I hope you guys liked it. I will be making one shortly. I was sorry I've been like gone for like 3 days. Some shit happened. Nothing too major. Just I was trying to figure out how to do God spawn for Deku, and I just couldn't. I just hit like a roadblock. But I did this just to like pleasure you guys. So, see you guys next time. Subscribe, like, comment down below what you think would be cool, or other things that I should probably think about or like do. See you guys in the next video.